the Lunchbox Reviews. We are doing episode 4, and I am joined by the usual variants, Alex.
Hello.
And Michelle.
Hello.
Sorry we missed episode 3, but we're back. So before we get on to talking about spoilers, what did you all think of episode 4?
Man, you know, it might have been my favorite one. I reacted, let's say loudly, twice in one episode, and then kind of a third time where I was just like, you know, in the post-credit scene, which was I was not expecting. Like, thank goodness you told me, you warned me, because I don't know, I don't know what I would have done, but damn, yeah, thumbs up.
Yep, I agree. It was by far my favorite. I mean, it had so much. Like, I mean, episode 3, we didn't talk about it, but it had some action. This one for me had more action. More characters got involved in the action, if that makes sense. So I really liked it. And I mean, I'm super, I don't know, biased. I don't know if this is biased, but we were right about a lot. And I was right about a lot. So I really like it because of that. So I'm sure we'll talk about all the things we were right about, but it's really exciting that we like actually did a good job in our predictions this
time. For me, yeah, it keeps chugging along, and I'm still really liking this. I know I talked about Loki so far being my favorite out of the 3 MCU TV shows, and so far it still is. It had everything that I wanted in an episode. So with that, let's go to full spoilers. If you haven't watched it yet, then why are you watching us? So come back or just watch us. You know the deal. All right, so let's get on it. So we start off with a young Sylvie. She gets taken away from Asgard. We see her being a young kid. She's taken away by Renslayer, and her timeline is reset. She's then taken to the TVA where she escapes, typical Loki style. What do you guys think about that scene?
The only thought I had was, wow, she's a brunette.
Yeah.
I'm still hung up on her being blonde. I don't know. I still am annoyed by it for some silly reason. So seeing her as a brunette kid, I was like, who is this child? And then I understood what was going on. I was like, oh, okay, I follow. I thought that was really cool. I think it gives us a lot of background to the character, especially like from episode 3, she kind of alluded to differences between her and Loki in their upbringing. So now we kind of really get to see what that was, because they had the conversation about their mother. And obviously, like, Sylvie's experience with her mother is very different than Loki's experience. So it was cool to see why that would be the case.
Yeah, you know, I was surprised when I saw a young Sylvie, because I'm like, wait a second, isn't that Judith from Walking Dead? And then sure enough, yeah, I went on the internet.
Is it?
Like, yeah, it's Judith from Walking Dead. Yeah.
Oh my god, I think you're right. Yeah.
Well,
just realized that.
Yeah, so that was interesting. I mean, it was good to see like that Sylvie wasn't like an evil child. All she was doing was just playing with her little toy boat and just minding her own business. But you know, to the TVA, that's evil, being evil enough, and warranting a prune. I wanted more from her origin though, because like, yeah, there's a lot of questions. Like when did was Loki born like that? Like, it could be because Loki comes from like the old frost giants land. I forgot what it's called, Nephilim, or I don't know.
That one.
I played, yeah, with the N and F. Yeah, so I just have a lot of questions there, because like I really like the whole all the Asgardian mythology stuff, but it's cool. It went along, like, getting to the story that we actually want to see.
So for me, what I agree with both you guys, but for me, this scene, what I've noticed, or maybe it's just me, is the way Renslayer was acting, because it felt like she escaped too easily for me. And even when she grabbed the temp pad, it almost looked like Renslayer was just like, come on, go, for me anyway, like, go away. She didn't like make a move to stop her, and just kind of like, huh? Oh yeah, okay, she got away. So to me, that's what I was thinking throughout that scene, which I don't know. I'm still kind of I think Renslayer is just somebody that's doing a job. I think she's working for somebody. We'll get to that later. Moving on, going back to the TVA, we see Renslayer and Mobius having a chat, and Mobius wants to know why he can't interrogate Hunter C20, but this is also Renslayer won't allow it to happen because apparently she is dead. And Renslayer tells Mobius to just kind of keep it between them, which kind of weird to me. What do you guys think about that?
I was suspicious of that immediately because it didn't make sense to me not to want everyone to know that C20 was dead. I couldn't understand like what if C20 is dead, why don't you want people to know? Because it would put the fear of like Sylvie into people more, which I think is what they like, what I would want in that scenario is like be really afraid of it. It's, she'll make you so crazy you'll die, or whatever story it is they're using, because obviously we're suspicious of that. So it was interesting to me that they don't want anyone to know that she's quote unquote dead, which made me think maybe she's not dead, but I can't confirm that based on the rest of the episode. Like, I don't know if she's actually dead or not. And like, what is dead?
Yeah. I mean, that conversation made me think, she's dead. Yeah, that Hunter C20. Yeah, she got killed off by the TVA, or like there's something fishy going on. TVA is doing something they shouldn't be. They're withholding the truth, and sure enough, it was a good opening to sort of set up the TVA as being this untrustworthy company or leaders, whatever the hell you want to call them.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna add to the fact that this adds a bit more layers to the conspiracy that is the TVA. So other than kind of what you guys were talking about, I'm just kind of interested even more on how this plays out. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting last couple of episodes. There's only like two more.
Oh my god,
I'm sad about that. Like, I could watch a lot more of this, like a lot more.
Yeah. Moving along, so we are back to the planet whose name I forgot again, even though Alex just told me what it was. Lamentis. Thank you. We're back to Lamentis. We have Loki and Sylvie chatting about her past and her plan. This is where she reveals that she does remember a bit about her Asgardian childhood. And I think this is just from my understanding. I think maybe you guys can just like correct me later, because I think because she was born a female, or she said like the goddess of mischief, it is why they took her, because it disturbed the sacred timeline. This is also where they touch hands and creates a apparently very big branch in the timeline, and it is where Mobius and the rest of the TVA found them. So let's unpack this scene.
Look, there's a really big mystery here as to why this branch grew from this moment. Like that was the biggest, the weirdest thing to come out of that. And I'm not sure. Like, if you were to ask me last week, like what's going on, I would have said Loki has something in his back pocket, like the temp pad is still working.
I'm still.
Or yeah, I heard that. I'm like, okay, that's a Loki thing, but like he would. To me, he would play Sylvie till the very end, and like the world's about to end, and then Sylvie would like just tell him whatever Loki wanted to know, and then Loki's like, all right, abracadabra, let's go. But that wasn't the case, and I guess we got a little more of a human Loki interaction, like a little more of his like emotional side. So that was interesting, and I'm really curious what the whole branch thing is all about.
I don't know if I love this situation that they're setting up here, and like there's gonna be a spoiler for the end of this episode, whatever we're talking, it's spoiler zone, too bad. This like romance question, what between the two of them, is it just me, or like where did that come from? Like they are at odds for all of episode 3, and not in like a fun and flirty way. Like it wasn't like, you know what I mean, like you've seen like that enemies to lovers trope, but it looks different. Like they really didn't like each other, they were like kind of jerks to each other, and then now it's like we hold hands and create a nexus event with our love. Like what so I was really hoping like at the end when Loki was going to have that like moment with Sylvie, he was gonna be like, just kidding. Like something like not like, I don't know. I like that Loki's being humanized, but I don't love that he's like potentially being this mushy love sappy guy, because that does not read Loki to me personally. So I'm not sure if I like it. I'm hoping I'm wrong in interpreting it the way I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, that threw me off a loop there, because he technically, Loki is falling for himself, kind of a deal. So that was a little weird for me. I'm not super convinced that that is the deal. I think there's still something, because as like you were talking about, this isn't like on brand for Loki, right? So like you, I'm hoping there's kind of something else going on with this Loki on and Loki flirtation. Just because she changed her name to Sylvie doesn't mean, she's not a Loki. She's still a Loki. Anywho, we're back in the TVA again. This is where Mobius puts Loki in a time loop, and before actually he puts Loki in a time loop, this is where Loki tells Mobius that the TVA is lying to him. And we finally get into time loop, and we get Lady Sif after, when did we see her last? Technically Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but to many that doesn't count. So one of the Thor movies we saw her last. Yeah, what'd you guys think?
You were right. You said it. You were the one who said it. I brought her up, but you're like, no, she's the cameo for sure. And so credit to you, Lou, because that was you nailed it. I thought that was, I really liked the way the time loop kind of played out, though I'm still, I don't know, Loki's getting too human for me now, almost.
Yeah,
I don't know, because this time loop situation didn't really have the effect of watching Loki watch himself and like the humanization that happened in that scene. It seems like they tried to kind of do that again, like that kind of like he comes to the self-realization, I think he's already had that at this moment. He already knows he's a jerk. Like we know he's a jerk. We know he knows he's a jerk. So the scene seemed kind of long for me personally, so I didn't really love it. I'd hoped he would have been more clever in that moment as well, and like, I don't know, chased after Sif when she tried to leave, because where does the loop end or something like that. I feel like he could have done something more in that moment.
Yeah, I was really happy to see Sif, because that's definitely one of the major Thor comic characters that I don't know, like she didn't really get her due in the movies, and like if she was in Thor Dark World, I cannot remember. I don't know.
I don't think
I can't
so.
Remember.
I think it's been a hot minute. It might have been before.
She wasn't in Ragnarok, that's for sure.
No, she wasn't. And like I like Valkyrie. I really like Valkyrie as a character, but like I couldn't help but watch and thinking like, man, this could have been Sif. Like, why wasn't Sif this cool? And it was because Sif is just awesome in the comics. But yeah, it was great to see her in the time loop. And yeah, I feel the same as Michelle, that it was I don't know, it felt kind of redundant, and it does add to the weirdness of why would Loki fall in love with himself, because he's such a self-loathing character. It doesn't make sense that he would fall for Sylvie. Like, he would definitely have affection for her, but I don't know if it's like a romantic sort of affection. So yeah.
So like you guys, I thought this was weird as well. I mean, I am happy to see Sif, even if it's just a little cameo. Hopefully we get to see her again. other than for Thor: Love and Thunder, which I'm pretty sure she is part of the cast. Uh, I think to me this would have worked better because I think Mobius was trying to sort of break Loki a little bit into giving him answers, and adding Sif as the time loop would have been the one to break him. I mean, wouldn't it have worked better if it was Frigga, like his mom?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was gonna be.
Right?
Yeah.
So that would have worked better for me. But other than that, I guess it's not bad. It's all right. It's Sif. Hey Sif, nice to see you again. Anyway, moving along, we are now outside of the room where Sylvie is being kept. Hunter B. This is where Hunter B15 asks Mobius what Loki said to him, and this is his response was the TVA is lying to you. One thing to note about this scene is that Mobius mentioned the Kree, some Titans, and vampires that they've caught, which is a little maybe hint to Blade appearing eventually. What do you guys think?
I mean, I like kind of knew this would happen. Like I hoped this conversation would happen because we know that Hunter B15 is the only other person to have been like, what's the word that they use for what Sylvie does? I can't remember. Like, not magic. What is it?
Enchantment.
Yeah. Hunter B15 is the only other person who'd been enchanted by Sylvie. So I was wondering like how that would show up if she had any long-term effects. And so this chat kind of, you know, you can see the gears turning in her head as she starts to kind of connect her own dots based on her experience. And I'm like really happy with the way, well, no, I lied. I'm like mildly happy with the way it played out because I do have like a severe anger about one thing, but that's later. But I like this scene because it gives B15 more to do, which I'm happy about.
It was cool. Like honestly, the best part of it was like the talk about the Creed Titans and vampires. I'm like, ooh, vampires. So you said they're officially canon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Awesome. Can we see one? and the other cool thing is like they're talking about Titans, and I'm like, wait, so like Titans are like Thanos was a Titan. People from his planet were Titans. Like I think pretty sure the Eternals are Titans. So like that's what I'm thinking that the Titans were, unless I'm wrong. Like, all right, but that's it. That's all I can say about it.
Same, actually. The part that Hunter B15 sort of was kind of trying to figure out what's going on. She's now very suspicious of the TVA. Kind of got overshadowed by the mentions of like Titans, the Kree, and vampires. So I'm like Alex was saying, maybe a vampire or something, a Titan can just show up there, you know. But the fact that they're confirmed, they're canon, they're there, so it's not like it's gonna be, oh, who's that? You know, Loki. They mentioned it in Loki. Come on. Okay, so we're moving on. This is where Mobius takes Loki out of the timeline, and Loki tries to convince Mobius that this is his plan all along. Of course, again, this is with the playing of the feelings with Sylvie and stuff. Loki trying to have the attention to her, and this is where Mobius tells Loki that Sylvie has died, and kind of takes Loki out of the loop a little bit. What do you guys think of this scene?
It was funny to see Mobius acting like kind of like he was hurt, like emotionally hurt by Loki, instead of like, you know, kind of business or matter of fact or kind of like a cop. It's like, no, it was personal to Mobius. It really made him feel bad that his friend abandoned him like that. And at the same time, Loki doesn't know what to say because whatever he says, Mobius isn't going to trust him. So Loki's just telling him things that, you know, he wants to hear instead of the actual truth, right? And it was a really interesting dynamic now in its sadly in its closing stages of this relationship. Yeah.
From real cool buddies to
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add to that. I think Alex, yep, that was exactly what I thought.
ditto. So exactly. So we're moving on. We are now in Renslayer's office. They have like a kind of a heart-to-heart talk, and Mobius won't kind of keeps pressing her about and interrogating Sylvie. And this is where kind of Renslayer was just saying that I'm kind of doing this for the timeline, for us, you know, for their friendship. And as soon as Mobius kind of catches Renslayer off guard by putting that sword as part of her trophies, he takes the temp pad for, you know, to check out what happened to Hunter C20. What do you guys think?
I'll go. I mean, it was it caught me off guard, that ending, the fact that Mobius was actually going to do something about it, but because it seemed like Hunter, is it Hunter 16? Yes. No, wait.
The one that died?
No, the
B15.
B50. Man, these numbers and letters are not doing it for me.
Yep.
Yeah, B15. Sorry. Yeah. Hunter B15. I thought she was going to get everything into place for Mobius to realize, but I suppose it's a good thing that Mobius takes he's an active participant in the truth and uncovering the truth instead of being a passive victim of the truth. So yeah, it was good, but I did have to rewind it because I'm like, wait, what the hell did he just swap out? Like, oh, okay, tempad, yeah, and not just that. Did you see? I you didn't cover it, but he turned on the tempad and he watched the video of Hunter C20, like her confession.
Yeah,
and it was all grainy and it just looked really neat. I have no idea how they did that, but it was just a really cool look of like this. I don't even know how to explain it. Like Tiger electronic handheld.
the Game and Watch.
Yeah, Game and Watch. Yeah, it's just like, but you got like a full video. Like what?
I'm happy Mobius isn't taking everything for face value. I think it kind of speaks to how much he really, really wants to be buddies with Loki and how much he wants to trust him. That even when Loki literally betrayed him and left him and all these things and like ruined their friendship, he's still like, but maybe there's a little bit of truth to what Loki's saying, just enough for him to investigate it for himself. And I love that. I love Mobius as a character. Oh man, he's great. Or yeah, he's great. He is still great.
Yeah, I agree. I like that Mobius's character takes an even like a deeper turn for himself, trying to find the truth, and he takes it upon himself to do that. So I mean, he gets pruned later on, but is he really gone? He's somewhere now, which is, you know, kind of cool. All right, moving on. We are now with Sylvie and Hunter B15. Hunter B15 takes her to the Nexus event somewhere. I can't remember. It's in the States, but it's in the future where beside the just outside, the rocks cart. And then this is where Sylvie shows more to Hunter B15 about her life, because I think she already did it somewhere that we didn't see, but this time she shows her more. And Hunter B15, I think her words are like, I think I was happy, or so. It gets her kind of mind going to also maybe just help them, which she did throughout the rest of the episode. What do you guys think about this scene?
For me, like Hunter B15 doing that confirmed what I thought about when Hunter B15 was first enchanted at the rocks cart, that when she gets enchanted, that's when she sees her memories. So she was already had that in her brain. She already was thinking it. And so she pretty much came to get Sylvie to confirm that what she's seeing is real and not a trick. And I think that's really awesome. And the line was, I was happy. And then she's like, yeah. And so And Hunter B15, from what we've seen of her, is not happy. She's angry. She is not doing great, honestly. So I think just seeing that part of her, like, wanting to be happy, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna do, what I have to do to get back to that happiness that I have never had, and I can see myself having. And I think that's really awesome. And I like her. I like her a lot. And I'm annoyed about, I'm just gonna say it right now. When she gets involved and starts fighting, she gets taken out in 2 freaking seconds. 2 damn seconds. So we can have Loki Sylvie fight. And I'm so pissed. Why you gotta do B15 like that? Like, she shows up ready to go, and give her like 10 seconds of fighting, please.
Give her
Literally,
a fight scene.
She got taken down so quick, and I'm so pissed about it. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, B15 could have been better served or better suited to something else in that climactic battle, because she was kind of, I was like, oh, that's it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess this is the Loki show after all. But but yeah, it's Roxton, Oklahoma, by the way, home of the Rocks cart in the future. Yeah, it was cool to see the interaction that B15 finding out, and Sylvie just like thinking, he's like, oh, we're gonna scrap right now, we're gonna duke it out. But yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to that one. It was a good way to, because it raised the question of what is B15 going to do right now, which wasn't much except show up and get beat up. So it was cool at the moment. It turned out not to be cool.
Yeah. I agree with both of you, because 15 in the episode before was just like a real badass, right? And for her to get taken out like a punk is kind of sad. And that made me sad, because I wanted to see her actually kick ass. But another thing, this scene kind of what made me think was like how much, mind wiping the TVA is doing. I mean, going back to like a couple of episodes, there's a scene where it was with Renslayer and Mobius, and it was like the drink and the cup, and there was like a stain from like the watermark, like that he couldn't remember. So in my head, how many times has he already done that and had his mind wiped while that was happening, right? Like even the little pen thing, where it's like it seemed familiar to him, but he couldn't remember. So yeah, so the TVA is really something. So with that, we're moving on to Loki and Mobius. Unfortunately, this is where Mobius takes Loki out, and they get met by Renslayer, who then kind of prunes Mobius after he just like, I just want to be in my jet ski, maybe. that made me mad. So after that, we meet up again with Sylvie and Loki. They're being taken to see the timekeepers. They're in the elevator, and it was kind of there was a scene where Sylvie was asking Renslayer about like what her Nexus event was, but she said that she couldn't remember. But by looking at her, it seemed like she just didn't want to tell her the Nexus event that happened, or that Sylvie apparently caused. So what do you guys think about this?
I think like this whole episode is when things shift and the TVA is the villains, like 100%. They're the bad guys of the show. And I think we kind of see that in that scene, because up to this point, all of the variants are evil and creating Nexus events by doing evil things. And we know, having seen the moment that Sylvie gets taken, she's a kid playing with toys. Like, where's the evil? Where's the badness? Yeah. Her existence is the Nexus event, and that's so tragic. And I think that's probably why Renslayer doesn't say anything, because then she'd have to admit that there's really no motive besides her existence, that like you just are born a variant too friggin' bad, or whatever it might be. I think it's like a weak excuse, which is why Renslayer didn't say anything, because I'm sure she remembers. Because if like the variant you pick up becomes the variant you're hunting for like another however long of time, because time means nothing, surely you're going to remember like the details of that situation. So yeah.
I just gotta say, I yelled when Mobius was pruned. It was like I wasn't expecting it. Not at this time. Like I'm expecting an ending of him on a jet ski or something, but not this. It was sad to see him go. Owen Wilson did a great job, and it's a great character. Yeah. Oh man. As for the TVA, like I don't know if it's tinfoily hat, because it's not. I don't really know if it's a prediction, but like I don't know. They sort of. I don't know. It seems like them and apocalypses, like there's something weird with them and apocalypses, like to me, or maybe it's just a show. But I wonder if they're involved in any of these apocalypses. You never know.
Yeah, really sad about Mobius. Like Alex, the dream ending for this is having Mobius on that jet ski while Casey is in the background fishing. That is the perfect ending. But that was my original feeling, but then I felt a little better after that Loki pruning. But before we get to that, we gotta go to the timekeepers. We finally meet them. This is where all hell breaks loose. Fighting goes on. Hunter B-15 shows up, sort of saves the day for 5 minutes. Sylvie aims, cuts off one of the timekeepers' heads, and they found out that they are just androids, which we kind of predicted. I can't remember if it was Michelle or Alex.
Yep.
But one of us did, so we got another one. And the scene, I'm just gonna go straight up with the scene that I sort of didn't like, is as they were about to, I guess it looked like share feelings. That's when Loki got pruned. But I do like the fact that Sylvie got the drop on Renslayer, and it seems like she's gonna reveal more, because I think there's more to Renslayer than this. What do you guys think about that whole shenanigan things there?
I mean, besides B-15 having her moment, I liked that. I'm gonna take credit for this prediction, because that's pretty much what I said, that it was either a Wizard of Oz situation, a Wanted situation, they're just figureheads, or somebody else. I was right. So that was really exciting.
We got another
because
one.
when we walked into, like, when they walked into the room and we see them there, I'm like, oh damn, I was so wrong. Oh shoot, I like was convinced I was wrong, and then the reveal is I'm right. So I really liked it. It was exciting, because like they're trying to find, like, meet the timekeepers this whole time. Are we going to meet them for real in this episode? Because if so, what else is the show? So I knew there was going to be something else going on, because there's supposed to be more episodes. It was just like, even though I predicted it, I was surprised that was exactly what happened. And then the Loki getting pruned thing, honestly, I've been suspicious of the pruning, because here, like, I could be totally wrong. If all the people from the TVA are variants and all the variants get pruned, where are they getting these people from? Do you know what I mean? Because they bring in the variants, they put them through the trial, they prune them, and then where's the step in between of them becoming part of the TVA? So I think the pruning is like the prelude to getting your mind wiped and becoming part of the TVA. That's my guess. So when Mobius got pruned, I was just in denial that he was gone. Absolutely unacceptable. He is gonna get his damn jet ski. Like, I know he's not for real, he's dead. And then you can't kill Loki in the Loki show, as I'd said, like episode 1.
Episode 4, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't kill that's not a thing. So I was still surprised that it happened, but I wasn't as like upset because I'm like, okay, I know it's not over. We're gonna learn more about what the heck pruning is and why they call it stupid pruning. So I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny to see the Time Lords as like Chuck E. Cheese, like the characters there doing a happy birthday dance, song and dance and stuff. I do remember that, like, after at the second episode, I thought it was like, okay, there's someone behind the Time Lords. It is a Wizard of Oz thing. I thought we were gonna see who the person pulling the strings and stuff was gonna be, but we didn't.
But I think we still might.
Yeah, we still might. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Get some answers for this. But yeah, I'm glad they weren't real lizard people. It was kind of yeah, it's fitting. It makes sense that they're not. The Loki death, that's another one where I kind of yelped out just a little loud noise, like what like Loki, and then they showed Sylvie. It's like, oh yeah, right, I guess you can still have a Loki even if it's Sylvie, but I'm like, well, but Tom Hiddleston, you need Tom Hiddleston on the show.
Yeah,
so thankfully the post-credit scene kind of set things right, but we'll get to that after.
Same. Actually, you know what, for me, when Loki got pruned, I didn't believe it, because there's 2 more episodes coming, and him disappearing. What I for some reason I was like, I'm not accepting this. In my head I was like, no. I also do really like the intrigue more now of the timekeepers, showing them as androids. We know that somebody's behind this. Renslayer knows something, so we'll get to see more of that. It was an interview with Tom Hiddleston, and he was asked what his favorite episodes were of the series, and he said 4 and 5. So he said that it's going to change everything, whatever that means, however we're going to take it. But that got me excited for what's coming up next, which we'll talk about next week. But we go to the post-credit scene. Loki wakes up, and as we see the backdrop of what looks like New York, I think it's Avengers Tower. I don't know. Maybe this is the event where the Chitauri didn't get stopped. Maybe this is where Iron Man didn't redirect that bomb space. And we see 4 Loki variants. One being, got me really excited, was Richard E. Grant as the older Loki, classic Loki. We got to see a kid Loki. We got to see a Loki with a made-up Mjolnir, and a crocodile Loki, which I'm not familiar with. Maybe it's the frog, but they gotta show. Yeah. What do you guys think of the post-credit scene? Is what I'm saying.
Thor was a frog.
You're right. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, Throg.
Throg, you're right. So if Loki turned Thor into a frog, it would make sense that he would turn himself into a crocodile. I hope that's like the variant version of this story. The child Loki, I'm so excited to see more of him because there's an Alex Plain coming soon where I discuss his character. It was exciting to see the older version of Loki that's like true to the 1960s comics costume. And the fourth dude, I think that's a Thor variant. I don't know if that's a Loki variant because like Loki's not a hammer guy.
Yeah, the hammer didn't make sense.
Never used that. Yeah, exactly. So it might be, yeah, that one's throwing me off, but I can't wait for the next episode.
I'm happy that he's not dead. So first of all, like when he was there, I was like, okay, great, awesome, confirming that. I love it. And as someone who is not familiar with all the Lokis, that was very exciting for me because I'm like, this is gonna be hilarious. Because I have, besides like the weird romance between Sylvie and Loki, I have liked the Lokis like doing Loki stuff together and kind of the differences and similarities between them, and I really like that. So I'm excited to see him with like a group of them and how that kind of Like, is he the superior Loki now that there's so many of them? And like, how can you compete with a crocodile or alligator or whatever? Like, that's a superior Loki if you ask me, because that looks awesome. I'm so excited. Like, that made me, I'm like, I need the next episode right now.
Yep.
I want to see these characters. I want to know who they are. I want to know their deal. It's so unbelievably excited. Honestly, this is going to be like a crazy statement for me, but this post-credit scene made Loki my favorite show, because I it wasn't, and now it is, because I'm so excited about that. So
come on over to the Loki train.
Yeah, I can't not now. Like, more Loki, the better. Give me 100 of them. That'll be fun.
For me, this post-credit scene, first thought was, oh my god, that's Richard E. Grant as classic Loki. I'm so happy, because I know that he got cast, but they never mentioned who he was playing, so that was like a mystery on itself. Second thought was, Loki's alive. I'm gonna see Mobius again eventually. Got to see the other Lokis, and like you guys, I am so really excited to see the episode 5, and this super long weekend is just, making me sad. I just want Loki. So yeah, before we end it for this episode, is there kind of any theories or predictions or kind of things you want to see moving forward? Yeah.
I think the obvious one, at least for me, and you already kind of said it, Lou, is like Mobius is alive. And I want Loki to kind of like live up to the fact that he said that they're friends and go find him first and be like, where is he? That would be my hope. Besides that, I don't care at this point, because I was right about one thing and now I give up. I'm never predicting again, so I have 100% success for this episode, or this season, I should say.
I mean, I find it interesting that Loki seems to find himself at another apocalypse event, although this one might have already happened. But I don't know. I just feel like there's something more to the apocalypses going on, and the whole pruning. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I'm here for the ride. I'm not here for the predictions. I just, I'm glad to take it all in.
Same, but I am going to make one bold prediction that is probably gonna make me fall flat on my face. I think we see, or maybe have a mention of Kang in this series.
Ooh.
I still think he's behind the curtains, just because of the fact that we know that Ravonna, Renslayer, and Kang were a thing in the comics, and that's my only basis on that is that information. But yeah, my bold prediction is we either see or just hear a mention of Kang. And with that is our show for the week. Thank you for joining us. If you like the stuff, please, do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, and let us know your predictions, how you're liking the show. Once again, I am joined by Michelle and Alex, and we'll see you for episode 5. Peace.
Bye.